going to get myself a paper towel.
Hey guys, welcome to Jerry's Live. As always, I'm your host, Amy Gardner Dean, and we are on JL121 this week. We're doing mixed media, mixed media abstractions. Anytime you're around Ophelia, it's an abstraction.
That's true.
Or
that
just
is true.
or distraction.
A distraction
I'm not sure which.
and an abstraction.
And all
and
of
a
those,
hotness.
a hot mess of good things.
Uh-huh.
So if you are playing along at home with us and you are interested in seeing any of these interesting, beautiful supplies we've got strewn out in front of us, you're going to go to the jerrysartorama.com website, type in the search box JL121, that's JL121, and you hit enter. That'll bring up the supply list with all the cool colors we've got, the brushes, the whole enchilada. So for those of you who may be newer to the show, you're in for a treat. And it's kind of sad that you've already missed 2 episodes of Ophelia through the years, because you've done it the first year we were on.
Yep.
And then you did it the second year.
Third
And
time's
now
a
you're
charm.
back. Will it be though?
Third time's a charm.
Third time is a charm.
Uh-huh.
So Ophelia Staton, and she's actually one of my very, very good friends. So
Yes,
we may
definitely.
may have to be,
A little chatty.
a little chatty, a little silly.
That's what
silly.
we do when we're together.
Yes.
That's what we, and it's important.
It
It's
is.
definitely important.
It's important. It's important to have an art tribe
Oh,
of
you took my
artistic,
next
fun
sentence.
people around you.
That is
So,
true.
and Ophelia is one of the members of my art tribe. But she does Mixed Media Mondays for us on the Jerry's YouTube channel,
That is
Jerry's
correct.
Artorama YouTube channel. So, if you enjoy this episode and you have not seen enough of Ophelia yet, that's a good place to find lots more. So, I'm going to turn this over to you because I want to paint and have fun. So,
Okay.
tell me what to do.
Alrighty. So, wow. It's always just so great to be here, and thank you for having me again. And today we're just going to paint in my usual abstracty fun way. It was a challenge for both of us because Amy does not like my loose, or she does
No,
not.
I love your loose
She
stuff.
does not usually participate in my looseness as I do. However, I am very loose and intuitive and just go, and
Wild
Amy,
and
wild and
crazy.
free. Yeah, and Amy is very masterful with planned out notes, and then you just have wild hot mess going on over here. And so it was a challenge because she said let's paint large, and usually I paint small, and so every single day before I even show up to paint or like get to a larger painting, I will usually start with something small, like
Yeah, you brought. Okay, good. You
I
did
brought
that
some
one.
show and tell because I use this as a great way to just warm up, if that makes sense. And I started doing these little tiny 2.5 inch by 3.5 inch pieces of paper as just kind of a warm up situation where if I do something every single day, I have to get better. That's first. And since it's such a tiny piece of paper, if I don't like it, there's no love lost. And
Right.
then I go from here, and I've kind of turned these into like little note cards to send the friends and such like that. You can see my daily painting adventures, if you will, on my Instagram at Ophelia Staton, because I always forget. And so this is like my warm up before I go big. But my idea of big is like an 8 by 8. And Amy was like, no, let's go big. And I was
Yes.
like, 10 by 10. And she was like, no, let's go big.
And
so,
this is still not as big as I wanted to do. But she had
had
a little
to
bit of a
make it
panic
stop.
attack. We
Yeah.
had to.
we had
We
to
had to
make
dial it
stop
back.
because I thought, so then the first thing I thought, well, we can't have pressure. So I don't want you to feel as though we start this and we finish this tonight, because this is just going to be us kind of painting and playing, and you get to see some of my process and just having fun. So if we're ready, let's get started. But before we get started, because there are steps and there are all sorts of things, we are playing with Charvin paints. And so I keep a sketchbook. And whenever I get paints, I always want to just test them out and see what's going to go with what, because we don't need all the colors to kind of make something sing. You just kind of pick your favorites.
We can enjoy them visually,
Yep,
but not
you
use
can
them
have
all.
them all,
Yeah.
but you don't need them all in one painting. And so I always have my sketchbook handy so that I can test which colors I think are going to work well with other colors. And I keep my trusty color wheel handy so that I can just make sure that I'm like visually pleasing. I don't even know if I'm making sense. It just it
visually
feels
pleasing,
good.
like her composite, her
Yes.
complementary color scheme
and
here.
see, like you.
analogous.
There we are.
Thank you.
There we are. We just want to look fancy all the time. But so I keep this kind of sitting on my wall as I work so that I can kind of like eye and make sure that I'm still playing in the right field, if that makes sense. So I would invite you, whenever you pull out your colors to start your painting, just kind of have a play in your sketchbook and make sure that your colors are going to work well together, and then you're going to be happy with the results.
And we are using Charvin extra fine acrylics today.
Yes, acrylics, because I don't know how to use oils. Acrylics, it is. So I'm gonna.
That's a show for another time
I
that you're
agree.
going to be forced into. So
I'm gonna force you into a show with me because I want you to teach me your watercolor. I want you to teach me all your magic. But for now, let's get into some paints, shall we?
Yes.
So, now the way that this just makes me nervous already. Yeah, this. So I always pull out my Jerry's Jumbo Jet black pencil.
So what do I get first?
And if I'm terrified, and well, I'm gonna have a lot of stories, and if you know me, like Katie does, my stories go like this. So, but I was mortified to paint on a canvas before because I was always afraid that I would take this large surface and ruin it. And it's like, but you can get a new one, it's okay. And I'm like, yeah, but I will ruin the one. So I've kind of tricked myself now. I don't know, but I always start with my canvas, and I put a little bit more of a gesso surface on it before I showed up. And that kind of lets the canvas know that I'm boss.
It's not precious anymore.
It's
because you've already.
I'm the boss of you, canvas. And so then once it's dry, I take my Jumbo Jet black pencil, and I just kind of blindly do this. And now, guess who's really boss of this canvas?
Close
Me.
your eyes, Amy.
I know.
Keep their
I
boss.
can't just tell.
Just
I just
go.
can't tell it. It's the boss.
Just
That's it.
just put yourself
something.
down some marks.
Ophelia, you might have to put your hand over.
Agreed. There you are. And I'm going to show you
Good job.
why
Oh, I like that.
I like using
It's just
see?
not central.
It's-
I'm already
it's
like,
okay.
I'm unhappy with
It's
that
okay.
placement.
Because I'm a little bit of a freak when I do this, because I put it down and then I immediately take it back like I'm apologizing. I don't know
that's
why.
kind of what I felt like.
But
so sorry.
I'm sorry, buddy. But the reason why I like this pencil is I can get myself a really dark mark. This one is an oil impregnated. I always giggle when I say it, but an oil impregnated charcoal, and I love that. And I'm just going to use my finger here. I can take this and make myself some beautiful grays when I mix, and I can also scratch back into wet paint. So I'm gonna move this again, because as soon as I put my marks down to show my canvas that I'm the boss, I know you're ready, I will then immediately get a brush and some white paint, because I just like to then get that
gotta be white
underness
first,
tone. Oh, and that's an important lesson, because if you went with a yellow, then you're gonna make yourself a greenish, because it goes that black. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just kind of get myself a white paint, and I will see how it's making that beautiful grayish color. That's just my favorite. And whenever I am painting, I always keep an extra.
Look at Amy painting in the lines.
I noticed.
I did
this.
done some of over here. You just can't see it because it's white.
There you are. I want you to just kind of. We should have done some yoga or something before we started to just completely loosen up. I don't know.
Let me.
I know, that would be me too.
Got some shots or
Unless,
something.
like, exactly, if there's shots involved, I'm at the yoga.
And then
I'm
we're
not sure
lucid.
otherwise.
Okay, so it's now I've just kind of got
Oh,
that
you're wanting me to
scratchy
cover
mark
it.
back there. I remember I take it back because now I'm sorry.
Oh.
And this then becomes like almost the blending medium of all the paints that I'm gonna add. Did you? It's
I
okay.
splashed you.
It's totally fine. This, gosh, we need to have more painting dates.
Yes,
I'm
we
not
do.
kidding. So I've got myself some paint down. I immediately think to myself like, okay, it can only go up from here. And now here we go. I've got my colors poured out, and I'm gonna back up to my sketchbook again. Hey, why don't we stop talking so much and just paint? Huh? That's a concept. I've got my blues and greens as my pretty beautiful palette going here, but then I'm gonna use my orange as like my spice color. So that one will stay out of my way for just a minute. And I want you to think about when we're working on this canvas as though, my job right now is just to cover this like you're gonna put on your clothes for a fancy party. So I'm just putting clothes on, I'm just
Again,
putting color on.
We've met each other.
We have, that is true. But we're gonna pretend we're going to a fancy party.
Oh.
And we're just gonna put, we are the fancy
Can we
party.
talk in, like, Thurston Hell? We're going to a fancy party.
Oh, that is true.
Oh,
We're going to our
yes.
fancy-
All right.
Wow, this just turned weird. But okay, so we're going to a fancy party, and all I want to do now is get this surface covered. So I'm just gonna start putting
All
some
right.
paint on. And the only thing you're concerned with right now is just getting the clothes on. Here we
Does
go.
it matter what colors you use?
Sister. What?
Huh?
What? Look at you. And thanks to Amy, we have ourselves some spray bottles so you can kind of spritz it and make it move around more if you want. If you want to leave white space, that's totally fine with you too. You don't have to necessarily cover everything, but I am just going to get myself some color. And there goes Ophelia not being fancy anymore because then I got my hands involved.
Fancy party turned into McDonald's real quick.
That's true, because and so as you're working, you just kind of think like where you want your colors to go. I don't even think about where I want my colors to go, to be honest. I'm just getting color on.
You're thinking too hard, Amy.
Thinking too hard, Amy.
I'm making a mess. Look
You're
at this.
grounded. You're grounded. Okay, and so I always find if I ever get lost in the process, I will immediately revert to mark making. And by that I mean just scribbling with some graphite. I like to use, Ophelia probably should have taken said bracelet off because
I noticed I did that, 'cause
I
I-
noticed that too. I'm gonna take this off because now it's getting in my way. And you know what? These come off too. But I like to use the sides of my hands to kind of blend things out. This canvas is a lot larger than I imagined it, so
That's why I got these.
I should use a bigger, but it's okay because you know what? We're just here having fun. Like I said, if you get lost in the process, you can revert back to mark making, and by that I mean I like to use like just a regular a harder lead pencil to make like baby marks and scratch into the paint. Here you are, love. One for you. To just make scratches into the paint, and that kind of will uncover things that are underneath. And Ophelia has to do a better job at keeping track. I love your attitude today.
What were you just saying? That seemed a little snarky. What we were saying? What was that? Who's snarky now?
Uh-huh. That's somebody.
Ophelia, will you push yours up just a tiny bit? You're starting to get off screen.
Toward you?
Towards me.
Yeah.
We love you just the way you are.
Oh.
Are you gonna sing a song?
I was about to say that's a song.
I could, but I don't think anybody here wants to hear that.
I would love some song making. Alrighty, and so then we're just kind of getting said. This is a lot of pressure because this thing is pretty big. Anybody else notice how big this is? And
Yeah, you're right.
Can I mush with my
Focus
hands
on the
too?
colors.
Focus
because
on the
those are
color.
amazing.
That is true. That is.
Oh, this is really gratifying to rub it around.
Doesn't it feel nice? Like I just love these.
The more space you have, the more room for colors you have, Ophelia.
That is true. I just feel like this is such a large surface. It might take me until 2020 to finish it. 20. This is, and the more I paint, I'm like, good Lord, we're not done. This is a lot. So, I also love to
Yours looks
use
so well
this
blended.
little guy because I'm using this. I know. So that I can get rid of a brush stroke, I just kind of come in and do like that. And then I put this gloves in a bottle on first. But
Yeah,
do you see what I'm saying? It just kind of smooths it out. But yeah, oh gosh, I'm so in love with
Why
you
does
right
that feel
now.
that much grosser when you do that with the side of your hand?
I don't know, but it's just always been the way that I do it. Ugh. I don't know. And I keep extra white paint around for if I ever feel like I've taken something too far, I just start blending it out with white. So I am going to take some of this yellow. And I love to use these, what do we call these? Palette knives? Here I am. Palette knives to put color down and scrape into color. And, you know, I'm mature and I really don't even use a brush, but I do. And so, alrighty. And blend it. But then,
Oh,
I'm gonna take some of this.
my brushes are going to look like your brushes. I got this bad feeling.
It's okay. It's okay. And you're using the their falter, but I just feel like I use them for gesso. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess
Like,
I
how
need to.
am I
I'm used to
already
using them for
dirty?
oil, and I'm like, oh, you
You
know,
use
what,
them for
probably ought to go.
oil.
Yeah, these probably ought to go in
Mm.
here so they don't get.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Well, as I'm putting color different places, I just like to then, I don't even know what you call it when I'm working, where it's like a push-pull, so I will put some one place and then repeat it somewhere else. I don't know if there's a technicular.
You're balancing the painting
Thank
out.
you very much. I was gonna say there might be a technical term for that, but I don't know what it is. So I'm just gonna blend and then copy Amy because she's making marks.
I liked some of the marks I lost, so.
And let's do this. I also love coming in with a super dark.
Ooh, that's pretty.
And it really does help if you like get to know your colors. I know that sounds weird, but then it's effortless
No, yeah, it makes
when
sense.
you're working. I'm gonna
I
borrow
agree.
some white paint. Can I borrow some of your white paint, lovely?
You can have as much of that as you want.
Okay. And well, let's get white paint out. Just because I always seem to go through that so much faster, I just made it go all the way too wrong.
What'd you
And
do?
then
What did you do?
who? Me?
You. Yep.
Just hanging out with my bestie painting.
Y'all getting a little quiet over there.
Am I really? Okay, it is so hard to talk. And
Yes. Right.
so now we're gonna talk about the painting.
Yes.
Cause I can't, I'm sorry. You're right, we're too quiet.
I'm not sure how you make these really beautiful marks where you can tell you do
If you just
all the time. I know.
I know. Well,
just
yeah,
can't.
you're right. It's the more. Oh, that's a very good point. Whenever you're okay, so I had a painting teacher, or I took a painting workshop. Phenomenal, and she taught me so much without even teaching me so much of that. Walk in, and I would look over, and like some lady had already painted. She started on a rooster, and I was just kind of putting my paints down because I didn't know what I was doing. I signed up. That's why I signed up. And so the instructor would come over to me and go, "Oh, just put some more marks on it." And I would be like, "Okay." So then I'd, kind of do one of those. And I'd look over and the lady had finished a rooster and now she's on to another rooster and her canvases were ginormous. And I would sit there and kind of look around at everybody, and the instructor would come by and go like, oh, well, you know what? Why don't you just go like,
You're like,
talk to everybody? And then I'm sitting over there like, you know, she said put a little red on it. By the time she came back, it was covered in graphite because that's what she told me to do first. And then it was covered in red because that's what she told me to do second. And so she finally stopped by, and now mind you, the one lady had finished her whole series of roosters, and somebody else had painted everything else, and I'm sitting over there
In
with
this
like red
entire
and
class
graphite.
time?
Oh, it was 6 weeks. So every week
I
I
was
would
like,
go. Yeah, no. So
what the heck's with the rooster lady over there?
yeah, every week I would come back, and I just could not get it. And she wouldn't say a word to me other than like, just keep going, add some of this, or keep going, do this. And I kept thinking like, this class was a ripoff, because I couldn't figure it out. And so she finally came up to me, and by then it was like, oh, rooster lady, you like red. That's your favorite color. Here, take all of my reds, because I wasn't a great enough painter to own the paints that I had. And so I started giving my supplies away because I didn't even know what I was doing. And so she finally looked at me one day and she said, you know what, you keep going, your paints will talk to you. And I was like, my paints have been silent for 6 weeks. What do you mean? But she was so right in that the more you do it and the more you paint, that's when the magic happens. I don't even know if that's the right word, but
No, I think
the
you're
more
right.
that you paint, the better at it you become, and then it's almost like second nature. I don't even, like, you make
It's
a
like
mark.
a cascade effect. It's just it takes that long. Well, it takes that long to
That's it.
build up, and until all of a sudden it kind of.
It clicks
Yes.
for you. And she was, when I say like now, the one thing that I struggled with before was like how to begin and how to, of course, end it. And the beautiful part is, it's almost now like they do speak to you, because you just know when you're done, and you just go like, okay, that's it. She taught me so much, like I said, without even saying a word, and it was because she let me figure it out on my own. And I could only figure it out on my own by doing the work. So she would never touch my canvas. She would never like, oh, well, here, let me just fix it for you. Nope. Ophelia
shouldn't
sat
do that.
there for 6 weeks and watched everybody else, like, because they had already, what's that thing where people say, like, you put your 10,000 miles on your
10,000 hours of practice before
Thank
you're
you.
an expert at something.
That's it. You put your 10,000. Will you just say that whole thing all over again? Because I forgot. You put in your time. You put in your time. And it was totally right. But I sat there that whole time comparing myself to where everybody else was on their journey, which was why I wasn't getting it. And it was
saying,
true.
and they're just
it's
like, I
so
can't get
true.
it. No.
Hey, can you just talk for a second about how you have
I
gloves
love
and a
talking.
bottle on?
Everybody's
Help.
worried about you touching the paint.
Oh, yes. Okay, so this is
Or
a
not.
barrier cream, which then allows me to, like, rinse it right off so that tomorrow I can show up at work looking fancy without color.
And it kind of covers the
Protects.
pores in your skin so you're not absorbing the
There
paint.
you are. Yep. And you're right. I probably should.
We're not using any cadmiums, cobalts,
That is
anything
true.
that's going to hurt us anyway, because I'm not going to touch that.
So I should not have eaten it earlier. Just kidding. Wow.
I showed
kidding.
you
But
the.
it did
I
make your
know.
salad look festive.
That's true. But yes, so I always end up using that because even though I have a million brushes at my ready, somehow my hands always end up getting in it for something. I don't know why. All right, and I'm trying to figure out. Oops, I got myself some yellow.
You just do.
So see, it's hard to talk and paint. Here we are. What do you want to talk about? Because, what you do? Oh, look at how you're making yours.
I was trying to dry brush with my finger.
I love it.
I am going to have paint all through this apron, I have a feeling.
No, I promise you, your apron will stand up to all of this.
It'll
All right.
literally stand up on its own by the time you're done.
I feel it. Okay. And then I I think I'm ready to start putting in some of my, no I'm not, I tricked myself.
I feel like this looks like Gotham City before the bad guys get there.
It does.
I meant to do that.
I love it.
I legit meant to do that. But I think I am gonna work on my center here. I feel like it's a little bit too separated from everything else. And then I'm gonna start adding in my spice color maybe. And then, hey, yeah, let's.
Is it bad if I start looking at this compositionally and go, yeah, this is not working? I
It's
need
actually,
to.
they were asking some questions about how
Yeah.
you were making decisions on composition.
I don't know. I was just like following those lines and trying to kind of make some negative and positive shapes with it.
Can I show you one thing?
Yes.
Before I gotta
Before I
go back
go
to
like
my
this,
sketch.
because I'm getting ready to go like this
Well,
with some white. As soon
And
as
the
it
thing
dries
is,
enough.
now, yep, you can totally decide that, you know what, I don't think, but whenever I'm working, and I guess the only thing that stays in my head, and you probably already, she's a master, so I don't know why I'm saying this to her, but,
Not that far.
Oh, there you go. Right there.
okay,
Right there. Perfect.
like a, even use it, because I don't remember it, but, that's probably the only one composition-wise in my head. Like, I try my best to just make sure nothing goes dead center. Everything else is kind of fair game, but it's because you're far more of a masterness than
Well,
I
they
am.
know rule thirds because we talked about that
Because
this
you're
last
the
week
master
from
teacher.
composition.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Look at us. Okay, okay. I did not know this. Look at me tying in all the shows
I know,
together.
right?
Okay.
And it actually was not even planned.
Well, it's because you're such a master teacher that
I am
you
the
teach
master
me.
of disaster.
Well, I feel like that's my job.
Ophelia,
Yes,
Let me
it's-
get along.
one of our friends who's in Australia
Ooh!
wants to, I know, right? Wants
Needs us to
know-
come and teach them private lessons.
I'm on my way.
Yep.
They want to know if you ever have a plan for the design before you start, or if you just go.
The way that I made the marks, I then go. And it took me a long, long time to get there, because then I was ruining it for myself. Katie shakes her head yes, because Katie has been on this journey with me for maybe 8 years-ish.
Something like that.
It's been a long time. But I was totally ruining everything about how joyous
It's been that long.
this should be, because I was so fretful over making sure that it looked like something, or making sure that it looked perfect, or and that's not, for me, that's not what it was all about. For me, it was pulling out some paint and just playing and seeing where it goes. And as you know, I hate to admit when Katie is correct, but she is so, like, this should be fun, because if it's like, they will make another canvas tomorrow, as long as something doesn't take my birthday away, it's okay. And so I've just ended up
Nobody died because you put a wrong mark on a canvas.
there. That's, wow, she's a
Paint,
teacher,
it
but
can be
she's
It
like,
took
I
us a
mean,
long time to get Ophelia to paint on
it
canvas.
took, yeah. I don't know what it was about it, but I just thought, I can't do that. Those canvas are for like fancy real artists, and Ophelia's just a person that likes to play with stuff. So why would we ever give her a fancy canvas? So I would always just play in a journal and play in a journal. I promise I'm gonna move it back. I just need
What?
to.
What?
You're
Sorry. Okay. I moved myself out of my square for a minute.
Dang it.
I know,
Take
because
you anywhere.
But it's also to be said that you put in your hours doing that over the years, and you finally gotten to that point. So you probably reached your 10,000 hours, and then finally got to the point where all this is intuitive, and you are enjoying it.
is there an award for the 10,000 hours that I've reached?
Right?
I feel like there should be, but it's true. It's totally true. It was a long time coming, and I'm just thankful you're still my friend, because I put you through a lot of stuff with that one. She would go like, Ophelia, just literally put paint down, and I was like, but no, I'm really scared. And she
Can I bring it back to the rule of thirds for just a
Uh-oh.
quick second?
Absolutely, because Amy's the master.
Maxine would like to know if there's a focal point which needs to follow the rule of thirds in abstract paintings as well as for example, a landscape or something like that?
Because with this you're using more color for that type of thing. I mean, landscape you can use color too, but you're using form overall as the initial draw in a landscape, where this color can play a lot more, I think, a powerful role, don't you?
It feels good.
I want squares.
It feels good.
It feels good.
It just, I don't know. I feel like that's my go-to. It just feels good. I don't know why. And
The composition is why it does feel good. But
maybe
you-
it's got a good
yeah, you-
compass. I have no idea.
It's pleasing to the eye is when the composition's on point.
That's my story. I'm sticking with it. I wish I could be like the grand teacher person. That's why we have her. Because I just,
You're the teacher today.
I just do it because it feels good. It just feels, it feels so magical when I am painting, and I feel like everything just goes so wonderfully in the world when I'm painting. And so that's why I keep doing it. And I think that's why I don't ever worry about what it starts out looking like or what it ends up looking like, because it feels so great while I'm doing it.
What does it feel?
Good. It feels so good. It feels so great. I don't like all of the problems go. Why look at me with 53 brushes in my hand.
Wolverine hands.
Wolverine hands, but it just feels so great. And I honestly just love playing with it. The thing is, if I get to the end and I leave it and sit it in my studio on an easel, and I come back and I look at it the next day, and if it doesn't feel good anymore, I can just paint right over it. Or, you know, this whole time we could have been flipping these around and seeing it from other ways, but, you know, we're just kind of putting color here and putting color there, and I don't know, just having a good time with it. Yeah. I feel as though, any more questions? I just always like to hear you say that when you're on,
Yeah.
because I watch yours, and you go, okay, any questions for me? And I'm like, I want to be Amy.
No questions, but a bunch of our viewers were really excited to have you on the show today.
Are you for real?
Yeah, girl.
Thank
The
you,
first,
guys.
like, 12 comments was yay.
Oh my
Ophelia."
God. Okay,
I'm
see,
telling
that makes
you.
me feel so wonderful, because I just know me as a disaster.
Not a disaster, it's a hot mess.
Oh, that's true. I just know my daughter bought me a sticker the other day that said "hot mess." And I
Did
said,
she? I love
You
your
know me
daughter.
well, and you're grounded. That's you know me very well, but you're grounded because the truth hurts. And I certainly, I don't know if you. I just feel as though if we're having fun, then it's okay, because life. Okay, now I've got all the hands. I'm a high school teacher, and so life Monday through Friday, 7 to 4 in my case, is hard enough. And so this situation has to be fun, and that's just how I roll. I don't know. Yeah. See, I can't talk and do it. I'm trying my best. I'm so, you can do it. I'm trying my best, but it's not, so, but you tell me, what else? Tell me anything else. Any questions for me? Any, hey girl, please just stop talking. and
They
play.
like the fearlessness that's happening up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just appreciate you guys liking me.
And Heidi sees a lighthouse in the bottom right corner
Ooh.
of your
Oh,
painting.
yeah.
Bottom right.
Yeah.
I see
The-
it.
the
Hey
yellow
Heidi,
one.
thank you. Call me later.
Tina
Thank-
says your hair looks fabulous.
Oh, thank you,
See,
Tina.
doesn't it?
We're best friends now. Thank you, Tina. Yeah, that one was a big chop, because I don't know. I think I explained it on my show at the beginning or the end of the summer. I don't technically remember when it was, but I always like to think of my haircut as like a rebirth, like a.
It is. It's very much. It's like
something.
the phoenix rising from the ashes.
There
isn't
you
it?
are. So I did it, and then as I was doing it, you ever sit there and you're like, oh man, I probably
What
should have
did
done that. But then it's too late.
Yep.
So you just have to
Oh,
roll
yes.
with it. So I rolled with it, and here we are. And I've been thoroughly enjoying it. Now I get more paint time in the mornings for sure, because
Yeah.
I just get to get up and like legit roll out.
Got
But
too much water in my brush.
oh, I know, I was
So-
dripping. Yep.
Lee has a question
Hey,
about
Lee.
the role of water in what you're doing right now. Do you only use it to thin paint? Do you just use it to rinse your brushes? Are you keeping your brushes wet?
Oh, that's a perfect one. I do like my. Why am I talking like I'm directly talking to Lee? But
You can.
I'm pointing to you. But I do like my paints to kind of flow and dance on my canvas, and it's easier when they are a little bit more. Not really fluid, but my
Yes.
brushes are damp coming out of.
You get these nice kind of glazy layers
Uh-huh.
where you can see colors under and under.
Oh,
and under.
see, that is true. So I do like the fact that coming out, my brushes coming out of this container are pretty damp, and I kind of dab them off on my paper towel over here and go in. So yes, they are a little bit damp, and that water does help things to. I don't necessarily wet them down or water them down, but I just use water, the wetness of my brush to help them flow. Probably made no sense because I usually don't make sense. But
Kimmy said no spritzing.
who's Kimmy? Hey, Kimmy.
We've been spritzing.
Um,
well, I've been spritzing.
Yes, because I talked so long in the beginning, she did spritz to kind of keep her paints wet, and I will usually use a water bottle to spray my paints. I will also, if I feel as though I can, remember when I said I was using the side of my hand to kind of blend out my colors? If I feel, I just got paint on my neck.
Oh, you sure did.
Yeah, you did.
If I feel as though it's dragging, I will kind of spritz down my canvas a little bit, and then it blends nice. Okay, stop looking.
It looks like calamine lotion.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Let's hope it
You
is.
should need to get you a full body apron.
For real. That would
Like the
literally,
people with the bubble wrap suits. It's just
that would literally. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of this over here. And how are we on time? Because,
About 20 minutes.
are you serious? Okay.
Right.
All right, I feel like I can paint another one. Just kidding. Just
We got
kidding.
more.
No.
There's more
no,
canvases
I
right
keep-
over there.
No. This is, this has been too
What's
big.
with the backpedaling, Ophelia?
I'm ready to go home now. I just
Not too big.
end up, oh, and I'm sorry, I got another, not really another story, but these brushes, I don't know if you've noticed in that set that they come, and I'm gonna be dripping, but I'm gonna borrow your napkin for a second. I'm gonna do that first, because did I get it?
I'm surprised you didn't just get more.
No, it's
Yeah.
fine.
You got
Okay,
most of
good
it,
enough.
I want to do the mom and go.
That, yeah. But I don't know if you noticed in this brush set, get rid of the pencil, and I'm gonna pull them all. You have an incredible amount of brushes that are now all dirty, but I like these little tinies to get yourself
they're
in
nice.
some like really good, nice, tiny detail. I don't know. I find that with these little, see here I am trying to talk and at the same time. But these are great for adding those details. So remember in the beginning when we started and I said it's almost like putting your clothes on to go to a fancy party.
Yes.
I love these little brushes because then I can put on my jewelry in that instance where these come in and they are great at helping me put in detail. So I just love the fact that you get quite a few littles and some really nice big ones to get this whole painting done.
So, speaking of done,
We're not nearly
how
done
do
yet.
you know when you're done?
Your paint will speak to you. That's what my teacher said. I promise it's you just kind of get that feeling and it's like that's it. And you just throw your hands up and you walk away. And if you're me, you feel like you've done aerobics for about 45 minutes
Yeah.
and you're sweaty, but oh my God, it's just a great feel. Okay, now my hands are dirty, but it's a great feeling and you look at it and you put that last mark on and for some weird reason, like that mark just comes out perfect and you're like, that's it. And you call it done. And your done might be totally different than her done. And her done might be totally different from somebody else's done. And that just honestly comes in you know, I guess I could have saved myself 75 of those 10,000 hours if my teacher would have just said to me, like, okay, this step, this step, this step. But it's all in the figuring it out that makes you grow.
Right. Would you have become who you
There
are
is no
if she hadn't
easier
done that?
answer. It's just you just kind of get in, you stumble, you fall, you get back up, realizing that it's only paint and it's play and it's learn and it's frustrating and it makes you. There have been so many times when I've literally wanted to like close the door of my studio and set it on fire, but then I miss it so much a couple of days later. And so you just kind of know when it's time for you to take a break and go walk or read a book or watch a movie or do something totally different from this because you just need a timeout.
Yes.
And so I am great at putting myself in a timeout when it becomes too, what's the word? Like, it's not personal, but it's like, oh my gosh, that thing hates me so much, and I hate it right back.
Overwhelming?
Overwhelming. That could be it too, where you just have that, it's now a mutual hate. My paintings hate me. I hate my
You're
paintings.
not playing nice.
Right. We're not playing nice anymore.
Put it down and walk away.
I have to just walk away. And that's when I will literally go read a book or go veg out on art videos or anything but paint. And that will usually last for about 2 days. I will then come back and do something very mindless, like clean that studio of mine, or get in my journal with watercolors and just sketch. Okay, I don't sketch really, but doodle. Or just something that's really mindless, but you're still in your space. Maybe it's prepping your canvases with gesso. Maybe it's varnishing or painting the edges of other canvas. As long as I'm in the space and I show up in the space, then I'm okay. One thing that I did start doing, because in my studio at home, I purchased a and this is literally me in my studio. I walk up there and I'm all bad, like, yep, today I'm gonna do something, and I literally go over there and I'm like, huh, and I walk away. We're done, because it's gonna take a while, and to take all the pressure off, it's like, you know what? About if I did this, and so that mark becomes 7 marks and some color, and then, but anywho, so you learn who you are, and you learn your style, and you learn why you love all of this by just showing up every day and doing it. And it depends on how much time you have. It depends on what you actually feel like doing, but you do it. I guess that's my speech. You do it.
Well, there's something important in realizing that just because a painting isn't successful doesn't mean you haven't learned something from it.
You are such a masterful teacher. You are, and it's true. There are tons of mine that get painted over, and a lot of times I will even say, like, when does it become illegal for me to put that much paint on a canvas? Because, okay, that had orange in it. Because there is just, and see, this is why I love doing what I do, because for some that could have been a total disaster where my brush had orange, but I'm okay with it. It's a part of this whole process. Not everything has to be perfect. Everything has a reason for it. Now we're just getting philosophical. I just love that little mistake of orange did not completely ruin everything. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Okay. No, she doesn't even care right now. She's in her zone.
She's zoned in.
She's in her zone, and
I
so
wanted to some of the orange.
you go right ahead. Can you feel it? I mean, can you reach it?
Yes.
Because I am just goofing off with.
Poppy has a question.
Hey, Poppy.
Would you recommend a complete painting neophyte to start with abstracts, or should she start with something a little more structured?
Can I just
Matter?
offer one? I started out trying a lot of things, like drawing. I took a landscape class. I took a portrait class. What was I doing
Did
in
I just-
there? Yes.
What?
I did. I tried a lot of things, And the one that intrigued me most was the one that I stuck with. Now, it was hard. I don't know. I stuck with it because I like the fact that in this, there is no roadmap. Like, I start and I have to figure out where I'm going. Where in that portrait class, like, I was legit supposed to leave with a picture of the portrait I brought. I was not happy. My teacher was not happy. But that's okay. It's okay. But I like this being there is no map. I kind of figure it out as I'm going. So I would suggest trying a lot of things and seeing what you like. But Amy might have something probably far more
I think
better.
as long, okay, so as long as you take some time to learn some color theory and some composition, it's irrelevant which one you do, because both of those things are applicable in every single, what?
She's always got to be brilliant. Always.
No,
Can I change my answer? As long as you take some time to learn color theory and what was the other one you said?
Composition.
Composition and color theory. I'm going to go sign up for it. Katie, find me a color theory class tomorrow, please. I'm going to find me a color theory class tomorrow. And I'm going to find me a composition class tomorrow. And that's what I'm going to do. Because one of these days I'm going to get this thing. You'll see. For right now, I just kind of goof off, and I have a whole lot of fun doing it. And what this whole thing has done is help me find a tribe of cool people. And I think when I finally decided to just like let go of what it was supposed to be and enjoy it, that's when the whole world of it opened up.
Yes.
Like, find yourself a tribe of people that support you and just enjoy it. I don't know.
well, and even just, it's, the more you're around creative people, the more you want to create, so that you don't let as many things hang you up. I don't feel like.
And you know what? The more you're around creative people, the more you want to create. That's the way I feel. I just trademarked yours. Thank you. That's my statement.
Trademark.
Now. I kind of like it. The more, I'm gonna need to put that on my. Can somebody make me a sign that says the more you're around creative people, the more you want to create? Can you make me a sign?
Let's say Amanda's the
Amanda's
writer.
the-
Yeah.
Amanda's the letterer here.
That is true. But it is very. Oh, there's that brush hiding. This is why I need a lot of brushes, because then I can't find them. But it is very, very true. You just find what you love and do it as often as you can.
Okay, this is bad.
It is not bad.
No, now I just don't want to use brushes anymore, because now I'm like, I would rather use my fingers.
Fingers are honestly, it is.
Fingers are honest.
It's just a lot of fun to kind of. Then I feel like I don't take it too seriously.
Yeah, that's kind of, yeah.
It's.
I don't know how you get your jumbo jet that black. I cannot
The space
Get it.
has to kind of okay. I'm
dry
running out of
more.
fingers.
Okay, that's
But
probably my problem.
it kind of has to. Do you see how much darker my mark gets as opposed to
Oh,
in a light?
yeah, okay.
It
I
literally
think it's
has
because
to
mine,
be.
this is really wet.
Any more questions, or am I over time?
You got
No,
10
we
minutes
got 10 minutes.
10 minutes. How do you guys know the time? And I don't
Because
know.
Katie was showing me
I
when you
showed
weren't
last
looking.
Oh, thank you. See, I don't pay attention, which is why I didn't even realize we were live until you started talking. And I was like, what are we doing? I was like, why is she yelling all of a sudden? What's going on? Because we were just talking.
I know,
like,
right?
Hey, so what's for dinner tonight? And then you're like, hey, I'm Amy, and I'm going, what did I miss? But okay. Alrighty, so I just end up playing, and when it does not feel like play anymore, that's when I realize I have to take a step back. And I don't know why I'm even trying to like make myself finish this when I realize that
If it's done.
Okay, Ophelia really can't talk while she's trying to make a serious mark. But I always find that if I don't know, I just kind of let it sit for a while and goof off with it for a while. Oh, see, that brush has orange on it. And that is not what we want yet. But it may, I usually get in my studio every day and I paint for about an hour or so. I'm that weird person that wakes up super early every single day so that I can paint. And that was just a trick for myself when my kids were little.
Yeah.
Because I found that as soon as they woke up, my day was over. I'm throwing things. Hold please. I'm gonna disappear. Here it is. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. Okay, but so when my kids were little, I found that I had to just find some way. You know how when you're very I don't even know how to put my story into words, but I got that like craving that I wanted to create something, and as soon as I would try to do something, it was like my son would go, "Mom," and I'm like, "Oh," and I'd go downstairs and back to doing whatever it was with him, and then I just had this itch to like create something, and so I started tricking myself to get up earlier, and my son's 19 now, and I still wake up super early every single day to paint. And I usually start with a little and then work my way up. That little is almost like a stretch maneuver and a warming up maneuver. And
It's
then
your yoga.
it's my yoga. And by the time I finish that little, then I feel like I have some confidence to move on to a bigger piece. And then then I'm kind of, well, not really fearless because I just, but I feel like if I can at least get a little one done and get one mark on my bigger canvas,
Right.
then I'm okay. And I've already stolen all the paper towel. I'm going to share with you. Here you go. I'm a messy painter.
You need some more.
I feel as though, how
Here, you
many,
can have-
how many more hours do we have? Because,
About 5 more minutes.
are you serious? I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave yet. But so I feel as though as long as I get that done in a painting session where I start with that little, Ophelia, focus. I start with the little, I get that little done, I make a mark on that other large one, and I do keep several going at the same time. Just because while something is drying, oh, it's okay. It's not my studio. You can make all the messes that you want. But-
is much more-
Oh yeah, I know those get really they
that's
hold
what's-
water.
That's what, yeah.
But
So we're gonna let it drain a little.
you go right ahead. I don't want this top so bright, so I'm gonna dull it down some. And what about, let's just do this to be fair. When it's time for us to stop, somebody tell me to stop talking. Okay, is that good enough?
4 minutes.
But I don't want to go yet. I legit feel like we just started.
Oh,
My God! Thank you for. He's grounded. You know what? If
What
you're
did he
watching this,
do?
What? You're grounded. He's in Massachusetts now. But
what did he do?
he okay. How many minutes do we have left? See how
You can do
fast.
it. 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Okay. So when I was a brand new painter, and for those of you that know me, you're just gonna roll your eyes. But anywho, I was a brand new painter, and I like saved all of my money for the longest time, and I walked into that Jerry's Artorama like I was boss, and I whipped out my money because they had ordered it for me, and I picked up the full set of the Caran d'Ache Neil Color 2s, and I took those puppies in my car and buckled them in because it was a long ride. And then the whole way home, I started going like, who am I to have $300 crayons? And so I got them home, and I legit like sat them up on the shelf like so, and they were precious. And I was so afraid to touch them because they were so very expensive, and I wasn't good enough yet to play with them. And so my son had a friend over, and the one rule that we have is like, you just never go in my art room unless you have my permission. Well, he had his friend over, and they're cracking up laughing, and I'm like, what are they laughing at? And so I go upstairs, and I get about halfway up, and I realize that they're in my art room. And I thought, okay, well, they could be playing with their cars. And I could hear like, and they would crack up laughing like, ah! And so
How old were they?
they were probably 4-ish,
Oh.
5, 6, 8-ish.
Oh.
I don't remember, but anywho, so I get up to the top of the stairs, and I just, it makes me scared even talking about it because then I just kind of sat down and it was crayon palooza.
Oh,
But it taught me an
God.
important lesson. Lesson number uno: someone will use your precious supplies if you don't.
Yup.
So pull out those beautiful things that you've been hoarding, not hoarding, but
yeah.
holding on to because they're just too fabulous. And he did teach me the lesson that if I don't use them, somebody else will. And he did. He just didn't know how to use them. You're grounded, buddy. You're grounded. And so that's where it was lesson
You know
learned.
that pizza money?
Yeah,
Not
that's
coming this month.
yeah,
That's how you punish
You're
college
eating in the
students.
cafeteria
Yep.
all week long. But so it was. That's the same child
Oh my gosh.
who is now. We still crack up about that one. He and his buddy Tyler. They're still friends. Those I never bought myself another.
Still friends because they're having to pay your
Yeah,
crayons
that's it.
off.
They are. I'm telling you what. But I never bought them again because I then decided I must use all of my beautiful things because those were beautiful and precious, and so I'm gonna work on this some more at home because it's looking a little too geometric-y. But I just love that you've just totally let go. You almost have to go into like a trance state. What do you call it when
Yes.
you get in your zone?
Oh yeah, totally.
Exactly.
And then you just don't even think. You're just like in your zone and you're going. Because I find that once I stop and start thinking about something, that's when I'm more prone to then like get stuck and go, ooh. But you just kind of put your
I
music
drink wine
going.
when I paint.
Is that it?
That's why I drink wine when I paint.
You just
That's
go
why
with
I
the
just
flow.
drink wine.
I just drink Diet Coke on the rocks.
Whoa.
I just drink coffee. I love coffee.
Mm.
I'm now much more in love with iced coffee.
You're welcome.
I'm not kidding. 'Cause
Oh,
that
is
was
that-
the
Is
greatest
that who you
gift.
blame it on?
Uh-huh. That was, I feel like I'm taking us over time. This is the one show
Oh,
that
yeah.
will go on for
She's
700 hours.
tipping
Okay, so
tapping.
that's all, folks. Thanks for joining. It came like, oh, we're done. We
Amy,
are
what's
so
next
done.
week?
Oh, that's right. What's next week? Not
No, I
Ophelia.
don't
She's
know.
fired.
No, I don't remember. I
It's
don't
a
know.
Wait,
surprise.
what?
Oh,
Yes,
I know.
please.
It's a soft pastel landscape demo featuring Mongo.
Oh.
That's going to be great after
Look
this
at
one.
Judy's face in the background. All right. Well, Ophelia,
Oh, we're done.
thank you
We're
very
done.
much.
Yeah.
This was
Repeat
really
what
fun.
you're doing for next
Oh,
week.
next
yes,
week,
next
sorry.
week we are doing a landscape with soft pastel. We're gonna just demo and have fun and try some soft pastels and watch me do something else.
Yeah,
I'm very
totally
not
structured.
comfortable with doing. So
Totally structured.
yeah, and see, it's good that you got me used to yuck on my hands.
Yeah,
in
now we
advance
got to
of
go
the
wash our
pastel
hands.
class. Well, thank you.
Yep.
This
No,
was
gosh,
awesome.
thank you guys for having me. Check out Ophelia Staton on Instagram.
And Mixed Media Mondays.
Mixed Media Monday. Why am I
on the
pointing over
Jerry's
there?
Artorama.
But Mixed Media Monday on Jerry's Artorama.
Mhm.
And just enjoy the journey. That's it. Have a
Yes,
good night.
play and have fun.
Play, have fun, enjoy the journey. I'm just going the wrong way.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for putting up.
Thanks for you guys, too.
Yes.
Thanks for the questions. Time for Ophelia to stop talking. Time for Ophelia.
2 years later.
Are we? Yeah, I know, right? Is it over?